This week, Anson Carter ignites the oil. The NHL Players Association presents Be a Player, the hockey show. Brought to you by EA Sports NHL 2001. If it's in the game, it's in the game.
Welcome to Be a Player, the hockey show. Coming to you this week from Edmonton, Alberta. I'm Brett Lindros. Now, during these cold winter months, one of the many ways Edmontonians get out and enjoy the weather is by hitting their local outdoor rink. This particular one in front of the beautiful Alberta Legislature. And we've got a great show for you today. Our profile player is Anson Carter, who came over from Boston and is looking great in an Oiler uniform. On After the Game, we sit down with one of the NHL's all-time leading scorers, Marcel Dionne. But first, next generation and Toronto standout defenseman, Thomas Kaberle.
Next Generation, brought to you by Gatorade. Is it in you?
On the left wing, Kaberle in on the goal with a shot, scores!
When I was younger, everybody looked up to Gretzky, you know. But for me, it's been like Czechoslovakian players, the defensemen, especially because I played lots of positions. I played forward, centerman, whatever, and I think the defense was pretty much for me and like defensive style hockey. And I look up Czechoslovakian players, and lately when I was like 16, 17, I like style Raymond Burke. I expect a little tougher hockey than in Czechia. I think lots of skills too. I was kind of ready for it because Toronto sent me for a couple of days in St. John's. So I played there 2 games, and then I watched the playoffs. I wasn't playing, so it was pretty much to see what's going on there, and then I started practicing like 3 months before the training camp, and I went for my first season. My expectation was like I might play first or second year in minors, and maybe broke later when I be like 21, 22, 23, broke in the league. So I was pretty happy I did it right away in the first season. I think it's been kind of an offensive style guy. It's been my role and I like it. I always play like that, and I like to win a Norris Trophy once. It's pretty tough to win it, but I'm still pretty young, so if I have a couple of years ahead of me, so maybe I can do it one year.
It's now time for the Be a Player trivia question. To play along, send your answer to the NHLPA's website at www.nhlpa.com/beaplayer. All correct answers will be entered in a random draw with a chance to win an NHL 2001 video game courtesy of EA Sports or an autographed NHLPA jersey. For complete contest rules, check out nhlpa.com. Name the only active player to record 3 shorthanded goals in one game. Coming up, Anson Carter gets the blues.
We want to stick Anson behind the kit. Now you got your hi-hat and your bass. That's your snare. Yes. I'm on this. I got the real bass now.
This week on Hit Parade, we present the best of Minnesota hockey history with Delirious and Everything.
Young breaking it all alone. He should score! You are right. That's come on. You
Smith moving in, jams around one man.
Be a Player gives you a chance to ask your favorite NHL player a question. For your chance to participate, visit NHLPA.com. David Hole from Vancouver, BC asked Adrian Aucoin, what do you do to develop accuracy with your slap shot? Here's what Adrian had to say.
You know, you can't always have your head up as much because a lot of times you got to get it off quick and hard. But you try to pick a target out. And what most people don't really realize is how much, mid-body it takes, to get a hard shot. A lot of people just use their arms, and it's really leverage. I think it's almost like a golf swing, it comes from the hips, and you really gotta, put as much weight into it as you can.
Being traded partway through the season is often a difficult transition for a player to make. You're walking into a brand new city, a brand new dressing room, you got new teammates, new coaching staff, and often a new playbook. Now, talking to Anson Carter, it sounds like he's made that transition look easy. He's retained his status as one of the NHL premier power forwards, and he's the subject of this week's Be a Player profile.
Whyte down to the line, moving in. Dumps it off to Ryan Smith, feeds it in front. Carter scores! Anson Carter!
His first goal as an Oiler.
I want to start off with the trade to Edmonton. What were the circumstances that brought you here?
I had a feeling back when the season was over last year that I'd played my last game there in Boston, just from previous contract dealings with them and also with the way they were carrying on in the press during the off season. I seemed to be the guy that was under attack all the time from Harry, and I didn't really understand why that was. Other guys were up with contracts, but for some reason I was the focal point. And I mean, that was fine. He decided to choose his own battles, and I was the guy that was made to be the scapegoat. And I'm so happy that was the case, because other than Edmonton, I couldn't be happier. The fans, the management, the organization, and the closest to the hockey team. It's the closest hockey club I've been on since I've been in the National Hockey League by far. And I knew that coming in that, Billy was playing well, and he was really good friends, the leader in the hockey club. But at the same time, I felt pretty good with the fact that they traded a player like himself for me, and that meant they expected big things out of myself.
Smith, centering pass, they score! Anson Carter with a seeing eye shot.
I want to go back to the beginning. How did you first get involved with the game of hockey?
I was like everyone else. I played street hockey back in Scarborough. I couldn't skate. My life depended on it. So I'd make a move during street hockey, and guys give me a hard time because they'd be like, that was pretty nice, but you couldn't do it on the ice. So that's what drove me the first couple years that I started playing when I was about 8, 9 years old, that I wanted to prove to people that I could play the game on the ice. If you can't skate, you're not going to play the game. It's impossible, regardless of your hockey sense or how you think the game. If you can't get there, you're not going to make that play happen. So I learned that at a young age that skating was important, and it's one of the things that I try to work on every single day.
Turnover, Brian. They caught the pipe and score!
What was your first NHL game like?
The game and the pace was so fast. It was nothing I could ever be prepared for. You grow up as a kid and you think about what it'd be like to play your first game in the National Hockey League, but when it actually does come around, you're really not prepared for it. The hits, the action, the fans, everything I try to soak in as much as possible. And it's one of those days I will never forget. We lost, we got killed 5-1, and we got our butts skated the next day, so I'll definitely not forget that. My first bag skate in the National Hockey League. But it was awesome.
The next big thing would be the trade. Obviously get out of Wash, they didn't like the young guys so much there. What was the circumstances of that trade, and talk about your first days in Boston?
But when it actually did happen, they announced this big deal on TV, cap swing, big deal, blockbuster deal. And I called Ali up. I said, Ali, the cap swung a big deal. And I thought maybe Bondro was traded, Provoc, or one of those guys, because I wouldn't have thought I'd be involved in no blockbuster deal. So then he told us that we got traded, and I thought Ali was lying to me. I thought it was one of those things. I was excited to get out of Washington and to get a chance to play and prove that I could play on a regular basis on the National Hockey League level.
Why do you think there are more black players in the NHL today?
Just the fact it's more global, and you're seeing guys playing from all over the world. So now the emphasis now is on whether or not the guy could play, not where he's from. You have kids, teenagers, parents being able to relate to, the Kevin Weeks, the Freddie Brathwaite's, Jerome McGinley's. There's players playing in the league now that are minorities that have different roles on teams. Now kids could identify with a certain player and say, well, that's what they want to be like. As long as you love playing the game, that's all that matters, regardless of who's playing. I think that's what the kids have to think that's important. I think parents as well.
Down to Smith, Takata scores! Anson power play
The hardest shot isn't necessarily the shot that always goes in. Scoring is as much mental as it is physical. NHL goal scorers know how and when to pick the corners of the net. The shooter's vision of the net and his ability to read the goalie are keys to success. For a player coming in on a goaltender, he's got a lot of elements to deal with. He's got to beat the defenseman, come in, corral the puck, and then find a way to get it to the net. Milan Hajduk there didn't shoot it very hard, but it's positioning of the shot that made the whole difference. For Hajduk, he's got a guy clumbing all over him. He knows that Theodore is putting pressure. All he's looking for is the post. The off the post and in is the most critical aspect for that goal. The hardest shot isn't necessarily the best, it's the positioning that counts. Now when you're going at full speed, you have to make that decision a little quicker. Teemu Selanne here is against one of the game's best goaltenders in Patrick Waugh. Well, what does he do? He reads Waugh very quickly. Patrick's coming out to cut out the angle. All he's trying to do is keep his position. So what does Selanne look for? Off the post and in. If you continue to shoot for the corners, look for the goalposts, you're going to have success.
In pretty much every North American city, there's a trendy neighborhood where people like to shop, eat, check out a band, or simply walk around and take in the sights. Here in Edmonton, it's the Whyte Ave district, and many of the locals, including the Oilers, like to hang out down here. We thought it'd be fun to grab one of the newest Oilers, Anson Carter, bring him down here and see what he likes to do away from the rink. Anson, we're here down on Whyte Ave. It's a big music place. I hear you're really into the music. There's a rumor going around you got like 500 CDs. You're really into it.
That's about correct. I have a lot of CDs. It could be 500, 600, I don't really know. There's a wide range. I listen to a lot of rap and R&B and dancehall reggae music, but I also have some alternative CDs as well. I listen to a lot of Bocelli, some classical stuff, so I mix a lot of the, it's a pretty eclectic music selection, I think. It's the best way to describe it.
The Marilyn Manson isn't doing anything for me.
I get a pass on that one.
Now what about this? This is a classic here. We got the Pearl Jam. What memories you got from this?
A lot of good memories from school. That was one of the classics at Michigan State. All the boys used to blare that all the time in the dressing room. Even now when I listen to songs from Pearl Jam, like Jeremy and Daughter, Better Man, I could close my eyes and just think about being back in the dressing room there at Michigan State after a big win or just hanging out with the guys.
Have you ever seen these guys?
No, I actually had the chance to go watch them this summer, House of Blues, in LA this summer.
Nice. That's a small venue for a big band to play.
Very small, but a lot of the top bands end up playing there and performing there. And they play at the Key Club as well, but it was an awesome show. It was a pretty intimate setting, and it's one of the things you don't really see very often these days.
And so we're cruising down Whyte. What do you say we check out some blues?
This is a good spot right here. Let's go on inside.
All right, blues on Whyte. Let's do it. Head in. Have you seen any acts that impressed you with the jazz?
Yeah, I saw B.B. King perform a couple years ago in Portland, Maine.
Really?
He's one of the legends. Yeah. Watch him perform. You can see him, he's feeling the music. It's coming from his soul. When guys play like jazz or they're playing the blues, it's like how they're feeling. It's a total direct expression of how they're feeling inside on that given moment. And I mean, I'm musically challenged. I can't play any instruments, but it's always awesome to come and appreciate someone that has that kind of talent.
Want to head up and talk to these guys?
Mind getting a couple tips?
You want to get some tips? That sounds good. How are you guys? Good. How's it going tonight?
Anson Carter.
We want to stick Anson behind the kit. Now you got your hi-hat and your bass. That's your snare. Yes. I'm on this. I got the real bass now. Yeah, there you go. That's Come On Feel the Noise. That's the beginning of Come On Feel the Noise. All right, let's get some. We need some help up here. We're gonna get Anson a 5-minute drum lesson.
If I hold them correctly, first thing, we'll start off with.
Yeah, any way you want to hold them is
really
correct.
Okay.
Whatever
I've seen it like this. I've seen Animal from Muppet Babies hold them like this.
Pound the bass drum like that. Yeah. And while you're doing that, if you can, that's good, that's good.
What do I do with this hand right here?
Well, that's it, you're gonna...
Almost there.
Yeah!
I lost it there. Just looking at myself.
He's working it now. All right. Nice job. Thanks very much, guys. This is great.
I lost it. I got too comfortable. Thank you.
Nice job.
Be a Player, the hockey show, sponsored by EA Sports NHL 2001. If it's in the game, it's in the game.
In a galaxy far, far away, Be a Player visited the Edmonton Space and Science Center. Now this is a great place. You can come and check out the science galleries. There's amazing star and laser shows, as well as an IMAX theater. Now one of the top attractions here is of course the planetarium. It's a great place for the young and old to come and check out the stars. Now, speaking of stars, one of the greatest players of all time is coming up next on After the Game, Hall of Famer Marcel Dionne. Marcel still ranks third all time on the NHL scoring list, and he's up next on After the Game.
As a member of the Detroit Red Wings, Los Angeles Kings, and New York Rangers, Marcel Dionne was consistently one of the game's best. In 1977, while playing with the LA Kings, he recorded his first of 6 50-plus goal seasons. Marcel finished his illustrious career in 1989 with 731 career goals. 3 years later, he was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Today, he runs Marcel Dionne Enterprises, a marketing promotion company.
Basically, it's promotional stuff, it's corporate premiums, any events, any charity events. You might need some items like auction to purpose your event for the charity that you have. Event managing, or do you want some players to be at your event, Hall of Famers. Website, we specialize in items right now that we have created for players. The funny thing about people, what they don't realize, I probably get 100 phone calls a year, 100, maybe 200. Can you donate me something? Can you have? Well, after 11 years, what else do you think I can donate? There's nothing. So I came across to say, well, why can't we create our own products where somebody calls me, I can donate something or work out a deal or something, and that really helped me. It got me off the hook, so I started to put some products out there like hockey sticks and jerseys, and which they're on the market, but to specialize with me. And a lot of guys have come along and take a lot of pressure off. So, and these guys are calling me today, so that worked out very well, and we're still developing that, you know. So that I enjoy that. Well, what we did here in the hall is, you know, because of their credibility and what their archives, what they have, we started to develop products directly with the hall. And because of the website now, the internet, everybody has a website. They've started to do some retail business, and they have their website, Hockey Hall of Fame website. So we started to doing products which was not done before, like make it accessible to the fans that they're looking for you. So you could be anywhere in the world, and you go to that site and it says, hey, I want a Guy Lafleur hockey jersey, an autographed hockey jersey, or a Jerry Cheevers gold mask, and or a Frank Mahovlich hockey stick sign, or Johnny Bauer hockey puck. I oversee myself that it's coming from the player directly. It's signed, it's autographed properly, and that now we have not only credibility, but the fact that we have established you're the hall, you're looking for something that one of your favorites, go to the website and says it's there. Hockey Legends starts for me in January. They probably play 30, 35 games, which will play all across Canada. It's a telemarketing company that does it, and they do a wonderful job because they can bring the people to the event. You know, we play like 15 games in 15 nights. Sometimes some of us can't play them all, but because I'm into marketing, I can be there. It really helps me, but the fans really, really enjoy that. It's nice, really nice.
Be a Player Trivia is brought to you by EA Sports NHL 2001. If it's in the game, it's in the game.
Question this week is, who is the only active player to score 3 shorthanded goals in one game? Kilgs, Shelly, what's going on? 3 shorthanded goals in one game. He's an active player.
3 shorthanded goals in one game. Why don't you have one last week?
No, it's not 3.
3 in one game.
3 in one game.
Madden. John Madden.
Was it Haas this year?
He had 2.
A 2?
Yeah.
How long ago was this?
This was in 91 against St. Louis.
Glenn Anderson?
It's not Glenn Anderson.
No. Sergei Fedorov?
Not Sergei.
Oh, jeez.
Paul Coffey?
Now, a couple of years ago, he was a big free agent signing. He left the Western Conference and went to the East. He's known as a sniper, and he's not a big guy.
Fleury?
Theo Fleury.
Theo Fleury?
Fleury?
Theo. Fleury, yeah.
You guys are both in agreement?
Yeah, I think so.
Going forward with that?
Yeah.
Excellent choice.
J-Top left it there for Fleury, working his way in. Fleury scores!
Earlier in the show, we were talking to Anson about his college days back at Michigan State, so I thought I'd come by the University of Alberta to check out the action here. Well, that wraps up this edition of Be a Player. I'd like to thank Anson for joining us. Make sure you catch next week's show, as we're off to New York to catch up with their star defenseman, Brian Leetch. I'm Brett Lindros. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.
NHLPA.com is your source for the latest stats, scores, and NHL player information. Click on Be a Player for the latest show information or send us your questions and comments. You'll find it all at NHLPA.com. Brett Lindros is clothing supplied by The Coop, clothing for men, Toronto.
Now, Anson, you were talking earlier about your computer. You're really into it. You must be into the music thing on the computer with Napster and the MP3.
I will be. I will be this week. I'm getting the stuff sent to me. Getting the CD burner coming. I'm getting DSL cable from TELUS. They're coming over to hook that up. So after this week, I'll be on the computer all the time, downloading songs that you don't really find out and about these days. Songs from the 1980s that I used to dance, break dance to, like Herbie Hancock and Planet Rock, stuff like that.
Nice.